Mama, na digital blessing. High tech, they rise, no stressing. Money boy on the beat. I see numbers on my screen. Green candles make me lean. My people, them they win. High tech, they flow like stream. Enough we go down. Now only young we know. All my people gather round. Make we show them how we grow. High tech, na juju money. Juju money. Price they rise infinitely. My God, dash us this blessing. This blessings. Digital money no go rest, oh. No rest. Sharp pattern they confirm. Every trader they affirm. All time high no be ceiling. Market makers them they feeling. My brother check his stats. Numbers climbing.
Alright, I think everything should be working fine. This is actually a second attempt to launch this live stream. First one was a little bit incorrect. I set the wrong thumbnail and title. Let's see. Before I start. Okay, apparently sound is working fine, so I think we can, the mic, I think we can start. My name is Hightech, of course. I'm the creator of the high-tech meme coin. Here we have the mint address, and it's a little bit dark for whatever reason here. Yeah, now it's a little bit better. So yeah, on these live streams, I talk about what just happened today in the cryptocurrency market, what I think about it, and of course I comment on high tech a little bit too. So let's go. Let's see what the charts are telling us. Today, of course, is a little bit more interesting, or at least it should be slightly more interesting, just because we are just about to close the weekly candle. So let's explore. Where's live chat? Of course, guys, if you guys have any questions, you can write me in the live chat. I will see it here on the right side of the screen. But yeah, let's take a look at crypto fear and greed index. It is at 55. At 55, so a slight bump up against tomorrow. Yesterday yesterday it was yesterday it's like I know the future. Yesterday it was at 52 and today it's at 55. Yesterday, the day before yesterday, because this one is of course a lagging indicator, or actually index. It actually shows the prior day. So yesterday it was evaluated to 55, the day before yesterday 52. So as you see, a slight upgrade, which is, this is still low. This is still very low. Definitely you cannot call it anyhow that the market is, overheated. This is like, mid neutral level. So definitely a lot of room for this thing to go much higher, together with price, of course. Of all of the crypto market, not only Bitcoin, liquidations are at super low levels for the last 24 hours. Bitcoin just $10.3 million, one of the lowest in a long time, one of the lowest levels in a very long time. We've seen throughout last 6 months, we've seen even lower. We've seen even 6 million, but 10 million is still very low. And considering that we are so close to new all-time highs, because we are at almost $106,000. So this is very close. The current all-time high is 112, if I'm not mistaken. Am I 112? Where is high? Yeah, almost 100, 111 and 980. So very close on Binance, of course. Very close to $112,000. Probably on some exchanges it went even slightly above, because there was only $20 separating separating the price from that level here on Binance. So yeah, on derivative exchanges, it could actually go even higher than that. But yeah, the daily looks really, really good. Say, I mean, just as I mentioned a few days ago, that I should definitely not trust this head and shoulders formation here, not in the current environment, not in current conditions. It was very, very risky with so low liquidity, meaning that all of this market structure is printed by market makers. This has very little to do with organic growth. This is literally chart engineering. Um, does that mean it's something bad? No, absolutely not. This means it's going to be engineered until retail comes, and retail then will, of course, convert into into exit liquidity. But since, as you see, since we have grown quite a lot, because from here, from the very bottom to the very top, it has been 50% growth. And still, literally nobody is talking about what has happened on Bitcoin chart. It means before the interest comes back, Bitcoin will have to achieve much, much better results than what we have seen so far. Meaning that those that do not use leverage, trade spot, know what they are doing, they know how to read the charts, are going to be monetized by market makers. So yeah, I of course belong to that circle. I mean, my algorithm still has not allocated into Bitcoin, but I think in this situation is going to happen very very shortly, highly likely within, I don't know, next hour, maybe next 2 hours, from what I can see here. I had exit a little bit higher than this, probably before I go back. I mean, the price comes back to 107,000. I will still be, I mean, still, I will already be back in the Bitcoin market. That's what I estimate. Let's take a look at the weekly. And by the way, the title is Blackrock is selling, right? Because oftentimes I don't do any reference to the title. I don't refer to the title. So that's a little bit weird sometimes. I try to remember about it. Sometimes I don't. It's because usually, I craft the title just before I start the live streaming. So that makes it a little bit, you know, for forgetting. I mean, easy to forget after you already start. And allow me to turn on X on my phone because, of course, I live stream to X as well. Here it is, because maybe some of the live chat will not be shown on the Rumble Studio here. So just in case, I prefer to have it on the phone too. So yeah, let's take a look at the weekly. How weekly looks. Yeah, weekly looks really good. I was even speculating that this weekly is going to flip green. It was red for quite a long time, and it finally flipped green. Let's take a look how the altcoin market is doing. When it comes to the altcoin market, I analyze only the others chart. I don't think any other chart accurately describes what's going on in the minds of altcoin investors and crypto investors aside from Bitcoin. I think this one is the most representative. And here we are very, very close to flip green. We went above $245 billion. So we're back into this zone marked by me. That's of course slightly more bullish. Overall, I don't really think this chart looks bearish. Absolutely not. I think it has very easy to explode. any moment. We are resting on a very thick, dense zone of support, and the final word is to sit back above this very thin zone of in between 245 and 250 billion dollars levels. Once we achieve that, I think we are ready for a long run, very nice, very profitable rally, which highly likely, in the light of Fed announcing that they are going to print indirectly, of course, admitting that they will be turning on the printers back. Highly likely we are going to take out this high here. Highly likely we are going to take out this high from previous cycle. So we are going to make a new all-time high on this chart. That's what I believe. I'm highly sure of it. But as you guys know, especially those that watch me for some time already or had an occasion of watching one of my live streams, previous live streams, you should already know I do not trade markets manually. I have my own trading systems and they do that for me. So that is why here, of course, I discuss it for entertainment purposes. I don't really act on what I think I see in the charts. I leave it to my trading systems, and that's it. And that's my approach to it, and it has been. I mean, it proved over years that it's a correct one. It has proven over the years that it's the correct one. Okay, so let's take a look how Bitcoin dominance is acting today. On the weekly, it looks quite good. On the daily, as you see, I have marked a rising wedge here. Another one, we had a big rising wedge here before, and we broke out towards the upside. But yeah, to repeat that trick is going to be more and more difficult because approaching 100% here is literally same, very comparable to approaching 100% of speed light, light speed, sorry. So yeah, it's going to be increasingly more difficult. So that's why I expect this one to actually, work out, and meaning that we are going to break the floor of it, right? So we are going to break out of it through the floor and continue the correction, the great correction. It's time. It's time. This thing is way too high already. It's actually very surprising that it managed to go that high, because the altcoin market, it actually has quite a lot to offer. It should have been able to steal much more show than it did. It actually did not do much. But I mean, aside from the meme coin scene, of course, meme coin scene definitely had some great moments throughout the last 365 days. And definitely that scene will continue to have great moments. One of those great moments, I expect them to happen on my meme coin, on high tech, which the ticker of it is H173K. In the description section of this live stream on Rumble and on X, and not on X, sorry, on YouTube, you'll find the link to its liquidity pool. There you can swap it. Other than that, if you watch it on X, you will find in text form the mint address for this meme coin, and you can paste it into a search field of whatever Solana DEX, because this is a Solana meme coin, and you will quickly find that you will be able to swap it for anything that has whatever liquidity. And yeah, I highly, of course, encourage you to give it a shot. Of course, do not over invest. Throw at it a couple of bucks. I think it's going to serve you big, and the risk will be negligible, will be very very small. Because let's be honest, most of you guys, most of you guys yearly lose a lot of money in the crypto market, in the crypto space, and if by some miracle something goes wrong here, you lose a couple of bucks, nothing's going to happen. But that's why I always advise people not to, I don't know, throw thousands of dollars at it, hundreds of dollars at it, just few bucks. If I'm right and this thing will work out, in my opinion, it's 100% chance that it will work out, then you are going to get a very very nice bonus, right? Because when we were at literally few bucks, couple of bucks, I was saying exactly the same what I'm saying right now. I said throw at it $1, $2, $3. You will see it's going to turn into money, and right now $150 it definitely turned into money. And same I'm saying right now, throw just a couple of bucks at it, you will see it's going to turn into money. So yeah, so on the daily, it looks much more positive for the crypto market than on the weekly. On the weekly, it actually looks a little bit scary, but yeah, before weekly gives us some serious signs, a lot of time will pass. Weekly candles, they always give very late signs, and that is why in this case, I would rather not treat the weekly time frame too serious, because like I said, it's already very very high. Let's take a look at USDTD, which is a tether dominance. This one is nicely squashed by 4.88% level. On the daily, it looks even more promising. As you see, we are in the midst of printing third daily red daily candle, and yeah, we got smacked by this 4.88% level. So I expect us to continue this downtrend. This is definitely enough of a bounce for now, and I think it's time to grid 4.07. You know, go there for a coffee and a cookie. Maybe stay for a day or two, and then continue heading home. Much lower. You know, we are descending from the hill. We've been there for a lot of time. It's time to revisit the parents. Overall, right now, I'm liking what I see. Right, it's definitely not making me panic. I think we are on the right path. We are going to see finally some growth in the altcoin scene, in the, or some people could call it crypto scene. Some people say Bitcoin is not crypto. In my opinion, Bitcoin is crypto. Satoshi Nakamoto also called Bitcoin crypto. So I think that's the hardest proof that Bitcoin is crypto after all. So yeah. Okay, let's take a look what else we can read from external data. So for example, interest in meme coins search term in United States right now, even though we just have started the read from that time interval from 8th to 14th. We just accounted from 1st to 7th of June. Now we started from 8th to 14th. That was, of course, the first day. But so far, as you see, this rate is very, very low. Last one was 15. This one is 10. It is going to grow. Highly likely it is going to grow. We'll be keeping an eye on it on on these live streams. But is this a bad sign? No, the opposite. It's actually a good sign. It means that we are approaching bottom of a bottom, right? So this is the time for you to allocate into this market. I think meme coins search term is the most representative for entire uh, crypto um, crypto industry. I mean, it demonstrates interest in the whole crypto industry, how high it is. Why? Because the entry point is the lowest on meme coins, right? Meme coins, they are using all of the nasty tricks that make people invest in them. So first of all, they are very explosive. Most of them, of course, like 99.9999% of them are scams. So they are very explosive. On top of that, usually one unit costs, I don't know, some 1/10,000th chunk of a penny. You know, they want people to think it's cheap, and one day it can reach, for example, $1 or $10. So they can become millionaires out of some silly investment. And you know, they already have the fame of you know, that potential, let's say, to make dreams come true. So that's why those, I think, are the first doors for outside investors that are not familiar with crypto yet. They're maybe curious a little bit, so they highly likely are going to come through here. They're going to enter through here. So that's why meme coin and meme coins are those two search terms that right now I'm tracking the most, because those, in my eyes, in my mind, will be telling us where the interest lays, right? I mean, at what level it actually is. So the lower it is, the more you should be engaged, because the lower it is, the closer we are to the absolute bottom of that interest, and the stronger rebound we will see from there, when finally that interest will pick up. So yeah, meme coins. Let's take a look at meme coin. Meme coin is probably, yeah, it's lower as well. I'm not sure which one is better, if it's meme coins or meme coin. Time will tell. I think it's good to actually look at them both. You know, to keep track of them both, just in case one will turn out to be significantly more important than the other. Not actually crypto, not actually Bitcoin, meme coin or meme coins. So yeah, so that's why, as I said, I launched my own meme coin too. I'm uh, I'm the influencer of it, permanently attached to it, in the package, as they say, and that is why. Which, by the way, I probably, at least me myself, I do not know of any other meme coin that has a permanent influencer in the package. So I think that alone, aside from the fact that I'm also a programmer and I will be adding smart contracts to it sometime this year, I think that alone is a huge addition, is a huge, a very, very strong point for this meme coin. And of course, I have my own communities as well. My English communities are still very small, but they're growing very slowly, but they're growing. And I have quite sizable Polish communities, because I'm Polish. And I think all of this mix is going to play a huge role when the interest is gets on the upward trajectory, again. Well, let's go back to the Bitcoin chart because I want to see, do I have already entry signal on this one or not yet? Because I'm getting very close. Not yet. Because my systems are getting very close to allocating to this thing. Very, very close. So a little bit of volatility is kicking in here. As you see, that's perfectly normal. I mean, this is still a uh, very low volatility for Bitcoin, for crypto overall, because like even from the very top to the very bottom, that is like 2%. That's really nothing. That's almost 4x like volatility that we are experiencing on Bitcoin. So that's why I would definitely encourage you not to stare even at 15 minutes. What I do, but it's because I'm very familiar. I'm very aware that it is 15 minute candle. I do not forget about it. Actually, I do not even consider any other candle. So that is why. Um, I mean, for myself, right? So that is why in my case, it's impossible to forget about it. But many people tend to, stare at certain interval. They see not much is going on there, and they switch to smaller. So like 1 minute, 5 minutes, 1 minute, and then a move like this will happen, and it will give them an impression that the Bitcoin is on the move. That I don't know, something is crashing, something is pumping. Meanwhile, nothing really is going on here. So it's very important to remember about that, right? So yeah, let's take a look at crypto bubbles. How crypto bubbles are looking. Probably fairly good. Yeah, there is some red, but as you see, much bigger bubbles are green. And yeah, yesterday it was much greener than today, but still, yeah, today is a little bit of a mixed bag, but not bad. Definitely not bad. Yesterday was really green, so we still have biggest bubbles are definitely, as you see, noticeable green, noticeably green. So if today we have a little bit of a retracement somewhere um, throughout the day, that's perfectly normal. It is highly probable that this day here is going to end up in a very prolific green, in my opinion. I think we may see a push up, upward push on Bitcoin, even in last hours, in the last hours of today. I think this thing will be pushing up. As you see right now, this weekly has converted into red, but worry not, because the body of this candle is very thin. It has very easy to come back to green. So yeah. So BlackRock is selling because they are converting to Ethereum, right? On Ethereum, on the weekly, well, it actually depends. The whole impression will highly depend from how it is going to finalize. Right now is a little bit of a mixed bag, I would say. It doesn't look overly strong, it doesn't look overly weak, something in between. Let me examine the daily. That gives me a little bit better impression. I had, and you probably, some of you may remember it, that I had an open position on Ethereum, but my systems exited it right here, as you see, right before the drop, and my system has not come back to this market yet, and it's having a little bit of when we look at it on smaller time frame, 15 minutes right here, it looks like it's having a little bit of a struggle. So it may see a little bit more over retracement before it goes up. Actually, that's a common thing when you see a dump, and then the price action looks like it wants to recover, but then the formation starts to round round down. Then usually you will have one more pullback before we actually go higher. So yeah, does that mean you should wait for it? Put a buy limit somewhere here and wait for it? That's not how my systems trade. So I will not recommend you to do that because my systems trade based on momentum, upward or downward momentum. I do not really use limit buy orders or sell orders at all. Just market buy or market sell. So that is why I cannot instruct you like that because me myself I never traded like that. My systems do not trade like that. But here it is quite possible we're going to see a little bit of more retracement before we go. But very well this market could surprise me and we can just shoot up. Um, but I mean we have pumped, we have pumped. We are somehow maintaining the level. We could speculate that this entire thing still could be a bull flag, and I don't think it's very false that BlackRock indeed they are buying Ethereum. To be honest, I did not look at on-chain analysis, any sort of on-chain analysis related to this um, regarding Bitcoin sells, Ethereum buys. But because me, I rely the most on what the chart is showing us, because oftentimes you will see a very good news on the internet, and the price chart will be telling you exactly the opposite, and literally that will happen, right? The bad scenario will happen because it's very easy to fabricate news. It's even very easy to manipulate on chain, spoof on chain. It's actually very cheap to spoof on chain analysis, so that is why the only thing that definitely does not lie is the chart. So that's my first place where I go when I want to gain orientation. What the hell is really going on? And right now on Ethereum, not overly weak, not overly strong. But like I said, we can definitely, for now, we can definitely speculate that this thing here is actually a bull flag. So that would indicate we are standing in front of a further upside. And of course, many people say that when Ethereum rallies, altcoin rally, in my opinion, that's because back in the day, almost every single altcoin was launched on the Ethereum network. Now that is not the case, but even if that conviction is still partially alive, probably to some extent it is going to stimulate the altcoin market, and later with domino effect, maybe indeed we are going to have, because of Ethereum, of course, because of Ethereum, we are going to have a continuation, right? A nice continuation of it in the altcoin space. I mean, as you have heard, I expect the altcoin market to explode anyway, even if Ethereum is not going to participate, in that spark. But yeah, it very well can initiate the alt season once again, one more time, probably for the last time, because it is losing significance. Solana is stealing more and more of it. So yeah, Ethereum is a much more expensive network, much slower than Solana. I think in smart contract space, Solana is literally stealing the show, and Ethereum is actually slowly fading. So maybe the next cycle will not matter at all. It needs a solid overhaul. Ethereum needs a solid overhaul because it's just it got left behind. Well, when you compare it to competition, it's lagging hugely in things that do matter for the space to move forward. Yeah. Once again, guys, I remind you about my meme coin, of course. Throw at it $1, $2, $3. I think this is a really good time given how low interest is in the crypto space right now, meaning that generally speaking, this is a really good time to allocate your capital into this class of assets. And here, again, given that this meme coin has a permanent influencer installed with it, I think once the interest around crypto and meme coins kicks in, it's going to play a huge role here. Let me take a look at Rumble Studio and in chats. So far, nobody is writing anything. You guys are still very shy. Of course, share, like, and subscribe if you watch it on Rumble or on YouTube. Same on X. Give me a follow, of course, if you watch it on X. If you watch it on Rumble or YouTube, then give me a subscribe. So here I was making a little bit of memes about high tech, of course. Soon everything else against high tech. So everything else is going to slide down. High tech is going to pump up, absolutely explode in value. High tech has less than 50 hodlers right now. No, 50, exactly 50. When you go to Dex Screener, I think it will show you 52, but two addresses are mine. So it actually has only 50. Here it is, sorry. Yeah, 52. Yeah, here, 52, but two addresses are mine, so it actually has only 50. So imagine, and price is at $150. Imagine what will happen when it has 1,000 hodlers, 2,000 hodlers, like other coins, 3,000 hodlers. The price is going to absolutely skyrocket. So, be first, be before that occurs, because it will occur, because this is a lifetime project. So I will continue to talk about it, continue to promote it on every single live stream I make, on all of my social media. So eventually it will get there. So that's why it's good to be before everybody else. That's how you make money. And this one, buckle up, high tech. He who survives the dump deserves the pump. Mahatma Gandhi, of course. This is a famous meme. I mean, quite popular meme. Of course, Mahatma Gandhi never said it. That's where the joke is, because he died long before the crypto was even a thing, internet was even a thing, and we have a little bit of a correction on my meme coin as well, as you see here. But that's where the opportunity lies. This is literally the opportunity. I think high tech could turn out, and in my opinion, will turn out to be one of the biggest opportunities of the cycle. Okay, let's go over to my here. If they pick new all-time low. So yeah, some people get excited that more and more Bitcoin is leaving exchanges. Me, not really. I don't really treat it. I don't really attach to it so much value. Why? Because nobody will stop that people from sending those Bitcoin back to the exchange, back to exchanges, and sell it. So that's why, to me myself, that's an empty parameter. But it sounds good. It sounds good. It sounds reliable. So it will definitely be fueling up the speculation, and that was what serves us, what serves me, because me, I'm a trader. I'm not an investor. I'm a trader, and so I have that awareness that when something pumps, hundreds of percent, sooner or later it will have to crash by 80%, 90%. and I'm always with the pumps and out of the dumps, away from the dumps. So, and that matters, of course, when we talk about my meme coin, because I actively buy up my own meme coin. So the more capital I have, the more buy ups I make. Lord Bibo, Ukraine refused to receive 6,000 Ukrainian bodies. What? So Russia started publishing the names of the Ukrainian soldiers. Ah, this is political. They are fighting for the country they refuse to live in. This is about what is going on in California. Yeah, this is a very weird thing that is going on there. I think I think it's staged. Maybe even that people, all of that people that are causing the mess are not coming from Mexico. It's highly it could be a black flag, false flag. Sorry, not black flag, false flag. I don't know why I said black flag. The first one the first thing I thought was red flag, and then I was like, no, it wasn't a red flag. Was it a black flag? Okay, let's say black flag, and then I clicked and because it's morning where I'm at. No, it's actually not morning. To me, it's morning. I just woke up, so you know, my mind is not very fresh. For oh my god, false flag. It has a huge potential that it's actually a false flag event. So it's all arranged. It's all a show. Coinbase CEO says the U.S. government will own $100 billion in Bitcoin reserves. It's happening. I don't know how he knows that. I need the US to own 600 billion. I mean, let the federal government have one billion, and that is going to give a huge speculative bubble that will fuel up amazing rallies. Of course, after all, everything will crash, as always. Don't doubt that. The crypto will have a huge rally, will crash hugely after that. That's just the nature of the finance market. It never different, it will be different. That's how it works. Benny Johnson breaking. Okay, this is about LA. Yeah, those guys, they're making a mess there. I'm not even American. I mean, you can tell I'm not American by my English. You can tell by my English that I'm not even a native English speaker. I can barely speak in that language. I'm just doing my best right here, and that's it. But yeah, it's weird. It's very weird. Naive throwing jokes left and right. There is an old saying: if a hot girl texts you about crypto, block him. That was exactly what Poseidon, the god of the seas, said in the ancient Greece. Yeah, of course. Most of hot chicks on X that write about cryptos are dudes. Are dudes. Most of those chicks, they never even existed. They're like AI generated. Some of them do exist, but they're like girlfriends or friends or models that are paid to be put on the profile. And very, very, very tiny fraction of it are actually real chicks that really do um, do engage with crypto. But there is like literally a handful of them, very few. Linalden, like Linalden, for example, right? Call it fiscal dominance and nobody cares. Call it nothing stops this train and everyone loses their minds. Yeah, because Linalden said on a conference, nothing stops this train, and yeah, and that became quite popular. If this is true, why was he doing paid shoes for drugs? Agent Chad. Meet Da Vinci Jeremy. In 2013, he begged you to buy BTC at $115. That's true. I mean, you can find his YouTube videos with ease, easy, right? Easily you can find his YouTube videos from that time when he was literally listening. He was even saying people that if you lose money on that investment, I will cover the losses. In United States, he was saying that, right? So he was taking a huge risk for literally nothing, nothing in exchange. And he's definitely one of the biggest OGs out there. One of those that deserves a huge shout out, huge thumbs up. He turned $100 into 200 million. 2013, $100 invested. He did not invest $100. He invested much more than $100 in 2013. 2025, 200 million worth net worth. He was trading altcoins and exchanging them for Bitcoin, right? Because he had that awareness that most of altcoins are going to die. Maybe even all of them are going to die within the next 10 years. So he knew they are going to have pumps because he was already in the know of the trading craft. He was trading gold, he was trading silver, he was trading equities when he discovered Bitcoin for the first time. So this he literally right time in the right place in the right time, like a few other guys like Max Kaiser, for example, the same. And he was doing shields to earn more Bitcoin because he knew how good uh, of money Bitcoin is for the time for these times, and he was trying to maximize on that opportunity. So that's why. And yeah, occasionally he was promoting things that turned out to be a scam, not intentionally, but yeah, I definitely cannot blame him for doing that. I've been waiting for a year. For what? Well, it only took a week to get the hood card from the time I applied. And it has been waiting for a year. Okay. And to use Visa or MasterCard, uh, debit cards, I think is a little bit silly. It's a step we should aim for crypto adoption, not for crypto crypto cards. I don't know, popularization. I think step back. This is not what should we should aim for, because it still creates a huge dependence on the banking system. We cannot really without it we cannot really use crypto freely. We need the banking system as a intermediary, and that's silly. Trump will announce Jerome Powell replacement very soon. The money printer is coming. Yeah, there is a rumor Powell is going to get kicked out from his position. The president of the United States does not have the power to actually fire Jerome Powell because Federal Reserve, believe it or not, it's a private bank. It's actually a private bank. This is not a governmental branch. The Federal Reserve is a private bank. So the president of the United States has no power to kick out whatever CEO out of position at a private entity. He can apply pressure and appoint somebody, um, anoint somebody, but definitely is not in power to make it happen from one day to another. My wife listening to me talk about meme coins before we go out to dinner with her friends and their successful husbands. This one is funny. Oh my god, this one is funny. What else? Altcoins. I think one of the biggest waves since November 2024 is coming. Total 3 chart looks really great. So far, it is a copy of 2023, 2024. Like I keep saying on every single live stream, you should be looking at others chart, not any other chart, in my opinion. And that one looks like we are super oversold. We are resting on a very thick zone of support, and it's time to rally. It's definitely a time to rally. You guys written anything in the live chat? No, you guys remain very shy. Let's take a look what is going on with Bitcoin in the meantime. Is it pumping? Yeah, it's actually tried to pump a little bit. The weekly probably flipped green again, yes. Weekly highly likely is going to close green. But to be honest, even if it closes red with this shape of the weekly candle, it's still bullish. It's still bullish. And when it if it closes if it closes green is of course slightly better, but with this shape of this candle this is already in my eyes it's game over. We are going higher. There's no way we are going to see a correction after this weekly closing, even if it's in red. Because I mean the formation, the structure of of this market right now is just way too bullish. And then when if we back it up with what is going on fundamentally, that definitely they're going to turn on the printers, back again. So it's nothing to talk about. There is no room for discussion here, to be honest. So yeah, let's take a little bit more look at what I have on my timeline here. Russia officially bans sale of energy drinks to individuals under 18 years. Okay, whatever. Kabiro, new video is a bit tensor. The next Bitcoin, many think so. Its subnets and recent upgrades are turning heads fast. Well, to be honest, the only type of crypto that right now would be able to call my attention had to be I mean it definitely had to be something related to quantum computing, something related to hold its ground against quantum computing, right? Some quantum proof type of blockchain that would definitely nail my attention and convince me to bet big on it, and even encourage people to actually walk away from Bitcoin. But is BitSensor something like that? Probably not. Well, I'll look it up since it's gaining traction. Be a man who grinds like God gave him. Okay, is this for real? Are they stealing fridge? Damn. Okay, guys, allow me to wrap it up right here. It's Sunday, so it was, you know, to expect to a certain degree that we are not going to see any groundbreaking news today, but hey, it was still a little bit of fun. And the weekly candles are closing good across the board. I think next week finally should be the week, and I know I've been repeating it for quite a while. I think next week finally be the week of huge pumps. One thing I've been saying for quite a long time already is that second quarter is going to be good, and it has been good. I think third quarter is going to be at least same as good. I mean, this time for altcoins, because for altcoins, second quarter was like meh, but June and third quarter are going to finally be really explosive for altcoins. That's my opinion. So yeah, one prophecy has already come to realization. Now it's time for the second one to do the same. So thank you guys for your time. I see you sometime soon, maybe even tomorrow. Cheers.